You heard him. You heard Chris just say number 2 on Pro Football Focus. How good does it feel, those accolades, and how do you stop yourself from getting too overhyped hearing stuff like that?
Honestly, when I hear that, I'm like, wow, like that is like blows my mind because I personally think like I could have done better in a game, and I just feel like it's an average game for me. But when I hear that, I automatically know that the glory goes to God because He's lifted me up and His favor is upon me and He strengthens me. And something that's really important to me is staying humble. My uncle, he was a pastor. He always used to tell me, be humble because the pride will fall, but the humble will be lifted up. So I just always remember that, like anytime I hear accolade or anything like that, I just give the glory to God because I know that once I start letting that get in my head, that's the moment I'm going to fall, and that's the moment I'm going to start doing bad or stop working as hard or stop, getting as much reps in practice. And next thing you know, that's going to add up and I'm not going to be as good. But if I keep reminding myself my goal and just I'm doing this every single day for God, eventually, that's just going to continue to help me get better and better and better. And that's how I stay humble through that.
I'm sure it's got to be nice seeing the success of your brother as well. I'm pretty sure he started that last game. If he didn't, he had a sack and a half at least, so he made an impact. How cool is that to see both of y'all succeeding after making the move to come to San Marcos?
Man, it's a dream come true. It's a big blessing just to be with my brother. Just like, just look to the left of me. He's right there. Red hair just coming out, that curly red hair. And we're best friends, Like, we love each other so much. And just seeing him make plays, and I just expect that from him, But I have no pressure on him at all. And it just makes my heart so joyful. I don't have anything against him or it's not like a bad brother, tension thing. It's all like we love each other. We're going to support each other, encourage each other kind of thing. And really, it's just like God just really gave us that blessing to be with each other. We only had 2 years in high school to play, but because of the whole eligibility in college, I had extra eligibility. So it's like my 3rd year playing with him. So it's so amazing, and I'm just excited to play the rest of the year with him. Enjoy every bit of it.
Yeah, as great as that win was last week, you have a tough opponent coming up this week with JMU. We just heard both coaches say that this is probably the toughest running back room you guys are going to face. How are you preparing for JMU, and what's your early assessment of checking out their film and all that?
No, yeah, they're a great team. Kind of like Baylor, really solid team. I noticed if we just try to get in our head too much and try to figure out how can we beat them, then we're going to beat ourselves. The best way to do it is stick to what we're good at and fix the little things. Because how we got beat versus Baylor, if you actually go diagnose the film, you realize it's small little errors that we had that we just let them capitalize on. That's how they beat you in stretch teams. Here they do a bunch of different formations. They're just going to figure out what your weakness is and then just hammer that weakness over and over if you display that weakness. So, getting a lot of reps in practice in different packages, you got base, you got nickel, all the different packages and stuff like that. Remembering all the different calls and your techniques and really staying solid with that and simplifying everything, because we will get beat if we don't stay strict on staying in doing our job pretty much, It just comes down to doing your job. And that's something I have to remind myself too, because sometimes I just want to make plays. And that's one of the humble things you have to keep remembering, if you just do your job, stay humble, the plays will come. And if our entire team just does that, just do our job and play how we always been, we've been aggressive, just doing our job, not getting in our head. It's just another team, another team.
Levi, I believe this is your 4th collegiate stop, 4th program to play for at the college level. Can you talk a little bit about the journey that ultimately led you here?
Oh, man, it's a long story. It's actually my 5th year. But I'll give you a short rundown. But I wasn't really a big recruit in high school. I actually only had one NAIA school. And, I always wanted to tell this story. I never knew this opportunity would come. But I went to the College of Idaho out in the middle of nowhere, great school. They gave me a full ride. but I was just like, it's my only opportunity, so I'm just going to take it. All the way out in Idaho, like I'm a Texas guy. I'm from Austin, Texas. That's far. And not going to lie, it was pretty miserable being away from my family. But, I was playing right away. I played like everything. I played like DN, D tackle, and I was only like 220 at the time. I was pretty undersized. They were even going to move me at linebacker eventually. But I ended up getting injured, tore my PCL. And that same week, my dad told me he was diagnosed with cancer, stage 4 cancer. And I was like, man, like I just got hurt and my dad has cancer. So that was a really hard time for me. But that's when my faith in the Lord really grew, because that was the only way for me to be able to, stay on top of everything. Just to be able to, stay sane. But I told my coaches I was going to move back to Austin just to be with my dad. So I moved back, dropped everything. I didn't have any school in mind. And I just took a semester off and just like was with my dad before he passed away. And after that, my goal was to be with my brother. I saw how bad it hurt him. And this was like 4 years ago. And I was like, I'm going to be there for my brother. Like that's no matter what that's what I'm going to do. That's what my dad that I'm going to do that. And last conversation I had with him, he was telling me about like, you got to get back in football. Like, don't give up on your dream. He's like, I'm going to see you in the NFL one day. And I was like, I'm getting a little emotional, but no. So I just, I think about that a lot. I'm doing this. I had nowhere else to go, so I just like started trying out to random JUCOs. Started looking up where I can find a JUCO. I went to Cisco, tried out. They didn't want me. I went to Trinity Valley. They didn't want me. Blinn, they didn't want me. And then finally Tyler wanted me, but they wanted me to play Mike linebacker. And I was like, don't have any experience at this position, but I'll figure it out. So I just went there for a semester, and I didn't play till like the last game. I was like finally the starter, because I just never like knew the position. But what they used me was in like a pass rush package, and I would go in and just get like sacks. Like it was just like natural to me, just like to pass rush. I don't know where it came from. I guess like my wrestling background, but and I had only like 8 D2 offers and 1 D1, and it was probably never believe it, but Jacksonville State in Alabama. It's a good program, but I kind of wanted to go with my brother, and my brother he was actually bigger than me in high school, and he had like 10 D1 offers, like all different conferences, and no like big schools, but he really liked La Tech because just like the coaches there and the strength coach and just like the position they're going to put him at. And he committed there, and I was like, I'm going to go there with him. And I was really trying to like get a scholarship from them. And I had a conversation over the phone, and I was like, this is my film. Like, what do you think? And it was decent film. And they were like, you're unathletic, too unathletic to play middle linebacker and too short to play D-line. You'll never be good enough to play at this level. And I was just like, wow, man. But I still had that like one school, Jacksonville State, like, hey, come on, we really want you. You're going to play a lot here. And I was like, no. Like I told my dad I was going to play with my brother. And I don't care if they say I'll never play here. So I was like, I just walked on, took out a bunch of loans. And like I just had to push through. Like when you're not really wanted, at a place, when you're a walk-on, you don't get treated as the same, There were a couple coaches there that believed in me, though. They saw like my motor, and that's just something like that really stood out. And I just kept like grinding. That was the COVID year, and I learned middle linebacker and all the inside linebacker positions. And they threw me at it like last second, and then they wanted me to learn all the D-line positions, and I was just like, I thought I was a walk-on, like what's going on? And I was going back and forth in between each game, like I was gonna play some linebacker, and then the next game they moved me. All right, Levi, this week you're going to D end. I'm like, what? Y'all didn't believe in me, like what's going on? But yeah, it was just like, wow, like I can do this because I obeyed the Lord and went to that school when He placed it on my heart, and He was just blessing me. And ended up becoming like the second string DN, like rush position. Actually, my brother plays a position right now. And yeah, I was doing really good there. I was getting about half the snaps for every game. And the first game we played was HBU, then HCU, and that was my first sack. So it was kind of fun playing them again. But yeah, I ended up earning a scholarship. Told the coach, like, hey man, like I was playing a lot, and he gave me a scholarship. And then I was like, all right, what position do I want to keep playing? D end. I was only like, it's crazy. I was only like 255 at the time. And we lost a lot of interior guy. One of the guys, Milton Williams, went to the NFL, and he's balling out in the Eagles. And I was like, man, I want to take that spot. And coach was like, if you put on the weight. So I just started. I went to the cafeteria, ate like 5 times a day, and like literally had like these shakes, like mass gainer shakes that are awful, taste like concrete, and just pounded them in like 2 or 3 times a day. And I was just putting on so much weight because we were lifting every day. I got to like 280, and I was like, it was hard to move because I put it on so fast. But I went into spring at like 280. I was like, coach, I did it. And he was like, what the heck? But since I moved it inside, he like put me 4th string just because like I just moved a position. Throughout spring, I won the starting spot and then went in to that net, which was last year, went to that as a starter as a 3-tech. And man, it just felt so natural to me because having speed and just understanding like where the linebackers fit because I used to play it, and just wrestling background, like it just felt so natural. I was like, why have I never played this? And just started doing really good, like versus Mississippi State. Had like a sack and like 7 hurries or something like that, and just like started doing really good, started getting attention. And then versus SMU, it's the 3rd game of the season. After a double team, the running back and like 3 people land on my knee and like tearing my MCL, which put me out. But it like I didn't have to have surgery, just had to like let it recover back, and that just like crushed me. I was like, wow, did all this hard work, finally won the starting spot just to be injured. But God showed me in that time like it's not about your timing, it's about my timing, and he like showed me that like I will work all things out for the good, And during that time, I really like grew more in my faith, and I had to be like a cheerleader on the sideline, like die to pride, It like really like crushed that pride. And I pushed through the whole season. I was trying everything I could to get back, and I made it back for the UTSA game. My leg was like strapped up, barely hanging on, and I was like, I'm gonna help this team win. Like I don't care. And I was like limping everywhere I go, but I was like, nah, coach, I'm good. And I went in and played that game. And I was getting after it. I had to use everything finesse because I couldn't like hold my weight. And I ended up hurting it again, like re-injuring it. And the coach was like, we had a conversation, should you just redshirt? And it was like my senior year. I was like, I'm going to have to, like I can't like do anything. So I redshirted that year. But it gave me an opportunity to keep playing, And then all our coaches leave. All the coaches that eventually like built that trust in me. My brother, he ended up getting injured too, and he had to push through the season, and he got like the whole injury, like the way he was treated and all that was wrong and stuff. Bunch of stuff I'm not gonna talk about, but his injury was really bad and like the way it happened, and we just really felt the leave. Everyone was gone. The one strength coach that like believed in me was gone, and we're just like, we're just gonna get out of here. And we decided to do that together. It's something we were kind of talking about throughout the year. And, we took a chance. Texas State hit us up immediately. And we were like, we're just going to wait it out just to make sure. But they're the only place that really wanted us both. And we're like, all right, let's go. Back home. I know this program needs a lot of work, but we're going to be there to make a difference. And we want to change it. That was what really stood out to us, is like we had this opportunity to come in and make a difference instead of just being like the average person at another program. So it's might as well like go do it, and here I am.
Wow. Well said.
Yeah, hard to follow that up, but just talking about, beforehand, I know you're from Cedar Park, and that's a really decorated program. Did that kind of, growing up in that football program, is that what kind of helped instill that motor that you have? I'm sure, a lot of other things in your life also instilled that, but, what was it kind of like growing up in that Cedar Park program, and what did that instill in you and Ben?
No, yeah, definitely. Cedar Park, like they're like a military, and literally you go there and you have like your stance. They say attention, and your foot is slightly out of line. Everyone's up downing. Like the tiniest details matter. Like we pretty much had to like sprint from class to football just to make it there on time. And if you're like a second late, you had like 100 push-ups. Like it was insane. It really built my mental toughness. I'll say that. Like everyone there, in order to survive, you have to be mentally tough. I woke up at 4 a.m. every morning. We had to be there at 4:30 for practice. We're in meetings in the dark at 4:30 a.m. And I'm like, is this even legal? But no, I was just like, what? And then we had a practice during the period, and then we had practice after school. It was just like, I was like, man, this is insane. But eventually your mind just gets like numb to it, just like, become really mentally tough. So when I came to college, I was like, this is nothing. Like this practice is like nothing compared to what I've gone through. And also they had a standard of if you don't run to the ball, like they will calculate it. It's called 9-5-90. Like 9 guys to the ball 95% of the time. And they would calculate it in practice. And if there wasn't one person to the ball, we would all run. So everyone would be like, run to the ball, like looking at each other, you better run to the ball. And it just had like that culture, like a big culture there. Everyone was going to ball out, otherwise like get out kind of thing. So me and Ben, and also we're just used to like winning because that culture allows you to win. So I've like only lost in high school maybe like once or twice and won every single game. It wasn't a thought in my mind to lose. And like it's still like now like that's just how me and Ben are. Like we hate losing. And we don't care what the score is. Like, I don't even care about that. Like, we're going to win every rep we have. I can't control it, but every single rep, I'm going to chase the ball just because that's my job. And that's what we're, like, trained to do. We're, like, just military people. I don't know. We're trained to go get after it, But definitely Cedar Park helped that.
A follow-up about your brother. It's special to see the two of you playing with one another. Your personalities, though, seem to be vastly different. You talked about how humble you are, and you talked about your brother and the long red curly hair, and he got in a couple of plays this past week, and he's dancing on the field and on the sidelines. Can you talk about just how different your personalities are? Are they?
We are different personality. I'm more of like the firm, uptight one, kind of overthinks too much. I'm just like, got to do my job, like stay firm. He's more like the relaxed, like, all right, bro, you just got to relax a little bit and react. And that really helped me play better in my game, just to be more of a football player, because he's really good at reacting. He's definitely more like the chill one. But no, we both have like instilled faith to stay humble and put God first and honor God. And that really keeps us firm, to keep from wavering. But he just likes to have fun. Like when he dances, he's just trying to say like, I love this game and I'm having fun and let's go. Like this is what I've been looking for, this opportunity. But he always be like, before like the game, he'll literally be like praying, be like, Lord, you, it's all you, like trying to stay humble. And no, yeah, definitely just like he really tries to like let his emotions out more. I'm more like conservative with my emotions. When I get a sack or something, I'm like excited inside, but I'm just like, don't show it as much. He's just like, let's go. Like, you know what I mean?
What do you make of his dance moves?
Man, I'll be honest. He's always been able to dance. I can't dance at all. I'm kind of embarrassed. I don't want to dance, too stiff. But I'll just keep that on the low. Even though it's getting recorded, but I'll be humble with that. I can't really dance, but when I see him dance, man, he's got a lot more moves than that. I'll be honest with you, but pretty impressed.
So we saw some Jamar Daniels get in there at fullback. And you played so many positions. Are you vying to get in there and get a fullback, make a block, get a handoff, anything like that?
Oh, I'm totally down. I'll play any position, man. Like, give me the ball, let me go block someone. I'm all in, man.
You ever played fullback? Is that any?
In high school, I played like some fullback, but I was just like a blocking fullback. Like fourth down, put me in there. Me and like the two linebackers just running down A gap and just lower our head into someone. It's kind of like D line, You just get to hit someone every play. I'd be down.